Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. You're welcome to another episode. It's amazing up in here. I'm super excited to be bringing us this talk today. For those of us who are joining on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Clubhouse, you're welcome. Today is going to be a very spectacular one. The topic for today, like you see, it's on. Trying to talk to a certain group of people that are very special, right? Certain group of people that are very special. So you can share or invite people, your friends, your sisters, your aunties, anybody that is a female that probably has one or two single people in their environment, get them in a room. We could just have something very quick discussion to talk about. And we'll get the ball rolling. I see a lot of people coming in the room. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited to be speaking today about women, especially if you're a single mom, right? You want to get in the room. Why? Because there's certain things that we want to talk about, and I want you um, to know that we've been focused on mothers today, right? So I know everybody has a mom, you have a wife, you have a sister, you have an auntie. Hi, I see some friends on Instagram. Hi, is that King Official, Emmy King Official? Hi, and then Net Points System. Hi, right? So we are going to be talking about single moms today. Why? Because they're special people to me, right? Most people have single moms in their homes. Um, I don't want to dwell so much on that, but I want to kickstart this. I see a lot of people coming in, and I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited. I see Juliet in the house. I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited for what we're going to discuss today. Is something that is, very crucial, very important that we must talk about. These are things that we don't like to talk about, but I want us to kickstart this with something in mind, right? We need to understand that every mother, every woman out there is special. If you're a mom, you're listening to me on another day, you are special, you're special, and I'm super excited to be having you on today. And we're trying to see how we can actually get you to the point where you are, right? So, all right. So, without wasting much time, I'm going to kickstart this meeting, right? For those of us that are on Instagram, and those of us that are on Facebook, those of us on Clubhouse, hello, hi. So I'm going to start with a story about a 34-year-old single mom of two, right? Recently diagnosed with a chronic illness out of nowhere. Because most of us feel that we have, the power to keep ourselves going without having any hitches or any glitches here and there, right? Now, guess what? This sickness came out of nowhere, but then there's always a root cause, right? Guess what? She never had any form of protection, no insurance whatsoever, no will put in place. Within 30 days, her kids were placed in a temporary foster care. Why the court ordered, out whoever was supposed to be having them in custody. This is really key. That's why I'm bringing this up, because the reason why I'm talking about this, because it's becoming rampant within our community, that a lot of people, especially when you're a single mom, right? When you're a single mom, you don't need to play that game, right? You need to have your plan in place. So that's why the topic, right, that I put out here, right, it's not by happenstance. It's not a mistake. If you're listening to me right now, you want to get every single mom in the room, right? You want to get them in the room. Why? Because there's certain things that they need to know, right? There's certain things that nobody tells you until you get your hands burnt. For those of us that are on Facebook, you want to share this link. Those of us that are on YouTube, get your friends to watch live. Those of us that are on I'm on TikTok right now. I'm on 4 platforms. I'm Clubhouse. So my Clubhouse family, hey, you want to get those ladies in the room, because we see a lot of people's babies being snatched out of their hands, and this is not funny, right? So the topic says single moms. If you're a single mom, you are not alone. You are the plan. You are the plan. So stop trying to figure out any other plan. You are the only plan your kids have, right? So now I've told you a story about this certain lady. I don't want to mention her name, right? Due to privacy in my trade, right? I'm not supposed to mention name, but I can share, you know, cases and case studies like this. Now, guess what, sis? I'm not trying to scare you by any form whatsoever, right? I'm not trying to scare you, right? I'm just trying to awaken you up. And this is not about fear, it's about wisdom, right? Because the Bible says, my people perish for lack of wisdom. In all you're getting, get wisdom, right? Now, guess what? You're doing the job, you're working multiple shifts, you're hustling, you're bustling, you're going out there to do what you know how to do. Why? Because you know that you have one duty as a single mom, you're a father, you're a mom, you have all the roles placed in you. Now, guess what? You're showing up daily, but yes, sis, listen, you are not here tomorrow. You're not always going to be here tomorrow, right? Now, guess what? Can you decide in your mind, or maybe you sit down, you picture, what if I'm not here tomorrow? What happens to my children? Like in the case of the 34-year-old lady that her children were snatched and placed in foster care. Picture that scenario. Your kids are going to be split. If they're three, two, they're going to be split in different homes, right? And then they're not going to get the same treatment, the plans that you have for them. Right now, you're doing all you can, right? But can what you're doing right now, right? All that you have built, everything that you have done, can you categorically say that it can protect that child that you have, right? It's not just about the policies. I'm not here to talk about policies. I'm just here to give you some word of wisdom and advice, right? Because I don't want to hear, oh, that did you hear the story of the Nigerian lady that her children were just snatched, because guess what? She was sick. She's not able to take care of them. And guess what? There are several people that can report you in school, at church. People are watching to know. And there's a system that take on these kids, because people make money off your kids. People get paid as minimum 800. Some people get more to just keep your kids in the home. That's a full-time job for some people. So you're not going to play that game, right? This is not about policies. It's about your child's right to stability. So if you're listening to me right now in Clubhouse, I know I have a lot of sisters in here. Now you're going to try to do the right thing. It's about the stability that you're trying to create. I'm going to tell you real facts, right? Guess what? The foster care placement is not funny, right? If no legal guardian is named, whatever you're doing right now, most people don't have a guardian. You don't have somebody that if anything were to happen, that they pick up an emergency call and they call that person one dial and they can go get your kids. This is a strange thing that is happening, right? Why I'm really, really angry in my spirit right now is because this is happening every time. And I'm begging you, please, whatsoever you do, name one guardian. It could be your sister, it could be your auntie, it could be your friend, it could be even your pastor's wife. Look for somebody within your community to help you, and then let them know that if anything were to happen, that you're going to be the guardian to my kids, right? Now, the number two thing, number two consequences of not having protection or not having the right plan right now, that you can breathe, you can lift your hands, you can move around. These are things that we don't take. Like, we take these things for granted. We just feel, oh, you know what, the fact that I can get up from here and I move, that I can sit down straight, I can do whatever, I can take my spoon, eat. These are basic things that we feel this we just feel this is necessary, or maybe it's normal stuff. But ask the people in the healthcare field, they'll tell you that, guess what, people get paid for taking care of people because there's something called your daily living activities, right? Your daily living activities are things like you cannot walk by yourself, you cannot move around, you need help, you can't feed yourself, because some people, there's certain costs, there's certain illnesses, there's certain situations you find yourself, you can't even lift the spoon. That tiny spoon, you keep moving up and down and you play with it, it's going to be really hard, because your nervous system, your nerves are not going to be able to move. And then you can't go to the bathroom. I don't want to use the other word. You can, you have continence. For those of you who feel constipated, imagine you can't go for days. That's when you now know that visiting the other room was very great, right? Now, another thing that you're going to understand, if you cannot put on your clothes, that is luxury, right? For those of you that are single, you know what I mean. For you to want to zip up your back, then that's when you know that it's good to have a partner, right? Except you have grown kids that can help you. Let's go back, right? I don't want to deviate, right? So guess what? Number two consequences, custody battles, right? For those of us on YouTube and on Facebook, those of us on Instagram now watching me, and those in the clubhouse, there's custody battles, family members arguing in court because I told you it's a money game, it's a business. Whoever gets the child, guess what? They get paid, right? So you want to make sure that you know that that sister, that auntie, that uncle is not good to you now. They don't like your kids. Now, if you don't put a plan in place, guess what? You're telling the court system that, hey, if anything happens to me, I'm unable to walk or do things or make decisions, medical decisions, or make decisions because I lost my mind, or temporarily I can't do anything. I'm not even talking about you being unlived, right? Or you going on to the great beyond. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you're still here and you're looking and you know that these people, if anything happens, I don't want my kids to go here. You're not to decide anymore when it happens, because the court system gets to decide, right? It now becomes a legal battle and you don't want none of that, right? Now, guess what? Number three thing is no access to funds. If anything were to happen to you, now let's say worst case scenario, you were to, like, hit the bucket and you will, or leave the earth, right? You see the monies that you're working, your bank accounts, right? Most people have money. You know how to make money. You have multiple shifts. You have, give me your shift. You have multiple, you see the house that you buy, right? You're paying so much in mortgage. You drive the best of cars, right? You try and strive to buy the best of things, but guess what? The monies that is sitting in your account, are you aware if anything were to happen to you, there's something called probate court. Now, the probate court system, it doesn't matter, right, how much you have in there, they're going to freeze that money. If you're owing student loan, you're owing medical bills, you're owing creditors and debtors, they're going to try to pay those people first. And then whatever is left is what comes to you, because the court system is going to take their part. Now, no lawyer works for free. Even the pro bonos, they get paid, right? So that part of your money is going to go towards legal fees. And then whatever is left, that's if you have, because most people are working, they don't even have a penny to their name. If anything, if I was to say, okay, let's take it back to Africa. When you are walking, somebody used to say something, if you're walking and you mistakenly hit somebody's, goods on the road, maybe you pour somebody's tomato, they shaded their market and you mistakenly hit it and you pour. Do you have money to pay the person? It's not, I'm sorry, you yell. Nobody want to hear it's sorry. Hey, I'm sorry, it's okay. Oh yeah, pay. Do you have money set aside for such a time like a rainy day? Now, let's even leave the rainy day. For the now, right? Not to talk of the money that they're going to take. So, and even for groceries, right? Your children won't even have, access to funds. That's why the next issue that I'm going to say is GoFundMe. GoFundMe is public begging. If you don't know, I'm saying this to you. You're going to watch me today. You're watching now. You're watching another day. Listen very well. The GoFundMe campaign that everybody gets to get on without you knowing. Guess what? You're already gone, right? No, you're not here anymore to see, right? Except maybe ghosts. They come and they see. I'm like, man, if I knew, Shebi, I don't do this thing. It's public begging, right? And you asking people, you know what, give me whatever you want. Just like you begging for arms, right? There are a lot of people, see, I'm not talking to you as a single mom to make you feel bad. No, but I'm highlighting all your issues that nobody wants to tell you, right? Because people are just looking at you and you're looking and you're waiting. I was talking to somebody recently and she told me, well, when I wake up every day, I tell God, Father, not today. I'm like, that's not a strategy. Father, not today is not a strategy. It's not a strategy. It's you're already failing, right? Now, number 5 consequences of not having the proper protection is that, guess what? You crush their dreams. Right now, your children, ask your children, what do you want to become? Right? They tell you different things. Like my son did something recently. He broke my heart. Trust me. I went to his school graduation and in his class, a lot of people were like, oh, I want to be a teacher. I'm like, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. Different people came. One guy said he wants to be a cleaner. And everybody was like, they frowned at it. And I looked at him and I realized his parents must be, cleaners for him to want to take over that business. But they're not seeing the value in what he's saying. Maybe he will grow up and he will explore that business because guess what? That's a stream of income. But to the level of understanding, maybe the parents are illiterate right now. They don't know how to scale it. And then he said it, and all the parents, their countenance, in the room, I felt really bad. And I looked at the mom silently. I don't want to mention the race or whatever. But guess what? When it got to my son's time, Me, I was there. I was like, "Hi, this guy go talk say I want to be a surgeon or something." Hey, come and see my son falling my hand big time. As a Nigerian boy, if I talk to you, you tell me, "Mom, you're Nigerian, I'm American." I'm like, "Bro, you are Nigerian." So the Nigerianness in me is coming out. I will not be doing all these things I'm doing, and then you now go. You know what he said? He proudly said, and I was recording him. He said, "I want to be a teacher." Hey, come and see all my Akwa Ibom, my Yoruba, my Igbo, everything in me, all the Wazobia traits came out. But guess what? Right? That is your child's dream, right? For now, maybe they've just feel maybe because they love their teacher. Everybody wants to be the teacher because she was cute, she was nice. He even told me, "Mom, I don't want to change my school. I want to be," because the teacher was nice. That is their dream at this level. But once they start getting older, their dreams change, their views change. Now, guess what? You have decided to crush your child's dream by not doing the right thing when you were supposed to do. Guess what? Your kids move to unfamiliar school, they do all kinds of stuff, they're going to change their zip code, they might not even get food to eat. Talking to you from experience, right? I'm a mom of 3 kids. 2 of them are in Africa and 1 here. No matter how much you spend on your children, you don't have that feel that everything is okay, right? Because you're not there physically. I'm not there money wise. I keep sending money, but is that enough? Right? And don't even bother about what I just told you because it's by design, right? There's certain things you don't want to know, right? If you're sitting on this side and you're single, you'll be able to understand the pain of not doing what you have to do right now that you can, right? You are still alive and you're seeing things go down before your very own eyes. Imagine when you're not here. Imagine when you're not here, right? 2 days ago, my mom's 6 years anniversary, right? Right, she passed away over 6 years ago. May her soul rest in peace. Right, every day I feel the pain, but at the back of my mind, I'm like, what would my mom think if my mom were to be here now? Literally, if you all believe in the afterlife, and she's looking at me and looking at my siblings, right, and she's looking at all of us, what would she be thinking? Right, so I'm approaching it as if I'm trying to do stuff with my siblings or their kids and stuff. I'm like, what will mom think? Because I'm not going to change who I was when she was alive, right? I'm not going to stop being that person I was to my siblings and their kids. I'm going to still be the same person because I know there's someone watching me. Now picture that we have a father upstairs that is watching you, but what are you doing? If God made you to have a child, he entrusted you that responsibility to protect them by all means. You are the plan. Don't even be thinking about another plan. No, if you don't get it right, trust me, your children already set you up to fail. There's no gimmicks about this. There's no two ways about this, right? You want to make sure that you understand what you're doing, right? If you're a single mom and you're listening to me, you don't have nobody coming to rescue you. So stop doing that. Stop playing the blame game. You need to man up, sit up, and face life the way it is, right? Nobody's going to come and rescue you. So you need to put up your big girl's pants and listen to me. Now, number 6, right? Guess what? Even if you did not die, did I say that? I'm not supposed to say that on live. Even if you're still here, but you're sick, right? If you don't pay your rent, guess what is coming? Eviction is knocking at the door. There's something that happens to you when you're not able to go and clock in and clock out because your skill set is tied to your ability to make income to keep the roof over your head. Now, guess what? If you're not exchanging that skill due to a medical condition, your employer is not going to say, "Oh, fine girl, fine. I love the way you've been working XYZ time, blah, 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 blah." They're not going to say that. They're not going to clap for you. See, this economy that we're in, this is not Nigeria. At least Nigeria, your friends, they will even help you, right? Your employer might even be nice, but over here is shrewd. If you're working for somebody, the reason why they're paying you that dollar amount is because they have an invested interest in the value you're giving to them. If they're not giving them that value, right, and then they're losing money, trust me, you're off. Cobra, yeah, you might say, maybe I have Cobra will kick in. I've seen people with Cobra, they pay out of pocket, they're tired. You're going to deplete everything you have. And at that point, you're not having money to keep the roof over your head. If you have a mortgage, that is even worse. At least if you're in an apartment, you could literally put your things in storage, right? That's a solution. You could put your things in storage, you now start squatting from home to home. But if you're sick and you're sitting in somebody's home, on their couch, and you're consuming their electricity, their food, their water, guess what? You're going to be kicked out. Sometimes your friends will block you. Nobody wants extra stress. So you put your thinking cap up, right? And do what is right. Now, number 7, family separation. This is the reason why I'm doing this call, right? This is the reason why I'm doing this call. This lady was just told she has what? She has a terminal illness, right? And you would think that they would even consider, right? You would think that they consider. This is not funny, right? You would think they will consider. How can somebody be diagnosed of a chronic illness and out of nowhere? You can't see what you see. Once the call came and said all that, I'm like, okay. I'm like, first of all, I spoke to you about this 2 years ago for you to get the protection for yourself, because I put that every time I'm talking to you, I put myself in your shoe, because guess what? We have similarities, but you didn't listen to me. You did what you did. You told me, hey, I don't think this is for me. I can't afford it. But you can afford to do other stuff. The other day I was talking, I think in May, I was talking Money May. I talked about 50, 30, and 20 rule. Your 50% of your bills goes towards, of whatever income you get goes towards your bills. So most people live above their bills. That's why you cannot function. Now, guess what? The 30% of your money goes towards what? To your want. But most of us know now your want is you want to buy a Gucci bag, you want to go on a trip, you want to do this, you want to do that. You can keep your wants for the now. And then that 20% is your investment, your savings. So what I would advise is roll over that 30% of your want, move it into the bucket of the savings or the investment. Now, once you have at least 12 months or whatever saved up, you can now go and start doing, once in a while, you want to buy your nice hair and all that. And by the way, I have hair, I sell hair. I'm going to put a link right in my bio. You can click the link in my bio if you want to do that. We're talking about multiple streams of income. But guess what? Most people don't understand that when the real thing happens, because you can't tell me unexpected illness came. It's not, no. You're a single mom, you have responsibilities, you need to protect yourself. You are the plan, not your children. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot pour from an empty bottle, right? That family separation is the reason why my cameras are on today, and I'm talking like this because I'm talking out of frustration, because I don't know how to help you. It's already too late. It's already too late, because now guess what? You're pretty sick. You're in the hospital. You are even trying to survive. Just picture this in your head. You have all the pipes, everything in your head connected to you. You're not thinking about your children at this time. You're thinking about you. That selfishness will come. You don't want to die. Nobody will sit there now and say, I keep saying that word, I don't want them to block me or whatever, right? But you don't want to put your children at a position or at a disadvantage where they get to separate them. You don't want to do that. You don't want your children separated and they go into the foster care. That is not a good thing, right? And then another thing is the mental health trauma that you're exposing your children to, right? Your children will come up with mental stuff that would affect them in future. Most of us from an African background, we already have mental issues from dysfunctional families. You came from different family. Your family was doing this. The whole system that we came from, it's already systemized to make you fail. So why are you trying to do the same thing to your children? You're going to give them grief. You're going to give them instability. It's a lifetime long. You don't want to think about it. It's long-term scar in their hearts. They have trust issue. They won't even be there for anybody, right? Because they'll be thinking, oh, if this happens, they're going to be guarded. You don't want to raise kids that way, right? You want to raise healthy kids that will be mentally stable. And then another one is the court controls your money. If there's no will, most of you don't even have power of attorney. If anything happens to me, I'm not able to do anything. You just leave everything, right? There's a video going on Reels where the guy, the father and the mother were sitting in there, and then guess what? The hospital came and unplugged the guy. There was no medical power of attorney. This is real. This is real, right? For those of us if you listen to me on Clubhouse, I know most of my friends here on Instagram. I know we have people streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook. You want to make sure you understand that the court will control the money. If you don't have a will in place, it's okay. You already have a plan. You've planned that, whatever happens, the court will decide. If they decide how to spend your money, remember the court is going to take their legal fees. And then what else, right? They take the legal fees, they take every other thing, and then you're left with nothing. Your children are left with nothing. Have you ever wondered why even people with money, right? A couple of years ago, I think maybe like last year, the owner of Cash App died. I keep saying that word. Scrap that. He was on leave, right? Let me use poof. If for those of us that are Africans, you understand what poof means. Don't mind me, right? It's not funny, but I'm just saying it. I'm very sorry that you might see I'm smiling. It's just that I keep saying the wrong word, right? Because I'm getting carried away by this thing. But guess what? Because this space we're in is a controlled space. If you say certain words, they could actually, knock up the video and all that. But that's not the intention. The intention is to educate. Now, once he was unlived by an accident, right, that happened, he was what, over $10 million. And guess what? Right? He still went through probate. They had to do the ugly thing that I mentioned earlier, which is public begging. The target was to get $50,000 to, plan the funeral and then take care of the kids, because he was also a single parent. So this, I'm talking about single moms now, single dads apply this wisdom as well. Right? Most of you are paying child support. But guess what? If anything were to happen, don't get my video, go that way. Sorry, I have a toddler. You see what I'm talking about? Right? I have a toddler. These are similar things that we face. If you know that you are the only one responsible for these kids, you just need to know that you have things in place. Right? I'll get back to you. Go. Sorry, Baba. I'm on live and my son wants to get his iPad. The TV is on and everything is on. You see, one thing about being in holiday, sometimes you just say, God, I thank you. For those of us that have kids, we're thankful to God. I have 3 of them, right? So now picture this. I have to be on different time zones. I have to be on Nigerian time zone, coordinating my other 2 children there, and have to be here in American time zone. So think about it, right? You don't have any excuse to being a parent. You just have to keep showing up every day, right? Now, the last thing is miss legacy. You never get to pass down anything. As a matter of fact, you get to pass down one major thing that you didn't intend to pass down, which is you end up passing down debt, right, to your kids instead of wealth. You pass down that ability that you're not here. Okay, I was talking to somebody recently and he said, I'm sorry, I don't think I want to do this for my children because my father never did this for me. And it broke me to a million pieces in my head. I'm like, this is the reason why you need to break that chain. There's something called generational curses, generational bondage, different things that are enrooted in your past. I just said it that most of us were raised in dysfunctional households. We have trauma. We have different things. It's not your fault. You didn't pick where you were supposed to be born in, but you can pick the kind of lifestyle you want to create for your children. You can actually design that life for your kids, right? Now, guess what? Proverbs 31:25 says, she is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. If you plan well, guess what? You will laugh at the days to come. But if you don't have any plan in place, you're already there. You don't even know what you're doing. You're just existing. Most people are on survival mode. You need to deactivate that mode and reactivate something greater than survival. Because if anything were to happen today, you've already unplugged yourself. You're just like a time bomb, a ticking time bomb walking. The only reason you can laugh tomorrow is because you planned today. What is the plan that you have done today? What is the plan that you have done today to make sure that if anything happens upon any medical condition that you have at least covered, that cost of you being responsible, that you don't see. Most people plan the kind of flowers they want to have. I know most people are like, oh, Helen, don't say this, but it happens. There are 2 things that are sure, right? If you're in America, you will pay taxes in this country. And one day, if Jesus don't come, you will hit the buckets. That is a short thing. So the goal now is, how do you want to plan? You didn't plan how you came, but you can plan. I want to make sure that my kids don't miss the money that is coming. Whenever they think of me, they say, oh, bless God. I bless God for Grandma Helen. I bless God for Grandma, whatever your name is. Put your name there. They don't want to say, now, wow, we said now Dangote family or maybe Bill Gates family or so. See, you need to make sure that your children remember you. There's something called household name. Right? There's something called When you give your kids trust, you see some people in your job, right? You see those other people, I don't want to mention names, they come to the job, the same job that you clock in on, they do one shift, but you go, you do two, you even beg someone that beg, oh, God, give me your shift, I know if you go out. You are paying bills, but you cannot sleep. Your blood pressure is rising. You wonder why people fall ill. The reason why you fall ill is the fact that you're not placing your priorities right. You don't love the body that housed you. You don't even respect yourself enough to tell yourself that, hey, there's certain times I need to sit down and look at my life. If I've lived for 20 years, if you're African, trust me, at 20 years, you were being taken care of by your parents. But if you're American, if you're from other cultures, right, as early as 18, you're already an adult. There's no excuse. But for us, those of us that were Africans, we still stayed at home until 20 something. Most people are still not married at 30. Nobody's chasing you out. The only thing that will chase you out is when your mother asks you, when it go happen, when now? That's when now you by yourself go. Right? You see what I mean? But for the now, you need to make sure that you cover that, cost of taking care of after life, after whatever happens, to make sure that your children don't leave the zip code that you have moved to. Some of you right now, you might be at 77036, right? Or whatever zip code that you think that is a starting point. Everybody has a start. And then you move towards different zip code. You put your zip code, right? Whatever that dream location is for you, put that zip code in there. And then you created this lifestyle, beautiful place. Your children have the best home. They have a lovely, they go to the best of schools. They have new friends. And then something happens and then they have to now go back to that place, right? If your kids have their own rooms, now they don't have a room anymore. They're now back to squatting, right? For those of us that never had a room when we were growing up, we had to share rooms with 3, 4, 5. I had 10, with 10 siblings, right? So picture that I'm the third child out of 10. So picture that. As a matter of fact, when my mom had the last child, I was really angry. I was coming out of school. I was really angry. My mom she was so embarrassed. She didn't want to say anything. And I told that, Mom, come, like, I don't understand. Like if people ask me, I think I was doing it based on it. Somebody asked me, oh, how many are you? I'll just say, I'm so ashamed to tell you that we're 10. Now I'm telling you because stories will touch you. You can't even come here now and start having 10 children. At this time, with the cost of raising one child, right? Not to talk of you have 10 now, because we are Africans, the body now goes on the eldest. So you picture this, maybe you're the only one in America, you're sending your hard-earned money to Africa. Those people are balling on your behalf. They're buying lace wig, they're buying all kinds of, they're buying, what's the latest one? They're buying bow straights, they are decked up, their skin is on fleek. You can't even eat well. You can't eat well. There's a video going right now. It's a viral video. That guy, I think he's Cameroonian. He said, eat your money. He was even doing a video. He brought the food, everything. He was putting it out there. He said, now my money, I eat it. He said, his bed, he's sleeping on very lovely white, bed sheets, right? He's driving the best of cars. He said, because when you poof, remember I said I would use the word poof. For those of us that will catch it later, I will catch it. When you poof, you eat your money, you hustle. Because people will still eat your money back there and they will still make a fool of you. So you want to prioritize. This one is for eating your money. This one is for going out. But this one is for the tomorrow, for my children. Because if you're a single mom here, nobody's coming to save you. You're alone, right? You want to make sure that you have a will, a trust in place. Remember what happened to the man that owned the bank in Africa that died here in America? And then his sibling, his kindred, his father, his kindred were dragging his own will. They're dragging his properties, right? So most of you here, you just stay here, you stay in one place, you are squatting, you can't, that's why most of you can't eat. You go to people's homes, they can't even on lights. They'll tell you, say, I beg off the light. Oh, they cannot on lights, $20, $40 extra. You can't on lights. You are living like you are waiting to go somewhere to happen. But then you are building mansions in Africa that you're never going to be in, right? And then you are suffering here. You look now, bam, 10 years is gone, 20 years is gone. So what, right? You need to start putting things in place for yourself. Don't be surprised. There's something called next of kin. Next of kin, they flex your money gone. They'll flex it without even regret because they didn't work for it. They didn't work for it rather, right? And then emergency funds, right? You want to make sure that you have the right plan in place, right? I've told you here that a policy doesn't just pay bill. It builds your child's, the time, gives them that time to grieve, but then everything is still in place. right? Imagine when someone is grieving double grief. They're grieving, oh, mommy has gone. You're grieving now, there's no food. Maybe mommy used to cook edikaikong. I'm a kwabom, so I'll tell you that. We cook very good edikaikong and nice afang, right? And then now you can't even afford to eat afang. Now it's okra. Maybe you'll do the olden day style. There was when I go to the village, they'll bring mortar, they'll put onions, put pepper, put salt, they pound it with crayfish, and you eat that one, right? Most people, right, might be just okay with that, right? But guess what? The Bible says in Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, right? Are you a good woman? Guess what? You're good. You change your kids' clothes. You're making them look nice for public acceptance. At the end of the day, if you were going to do that public, begging that I mentioned, guess what? People can only give $200 because I think people do that for sure, right? When they put those links up, you see people trying to give what other people give, and that's the end. It's just a one-time giving. There's no continuity. What happens after that is gone. I see a lot of families here in America, and I see their kids, and someone say, their mama been get money. Maybe the mother had like 10 home health business. They had money, but right now, where's the mom? Where are the kids? Where are the kids? Because your investment and your kids. So you are the plan. So, sis, if you're listening to me right now, you're watching another day, guess what? I know how it feels. Guess what? You think you're holding it all together. You can't do this by yourself, right? God didn't ask you to hold it alone. He has asked you to be wise. How? Right? Child support ends when you poof. So what is that plan you have in place to make sure your children are still supported? What is that plan you have in place, right? You might say, oh, Helen, don't worry, I have an employer, insurance, and it's going to be good, Guess what? It ends when you quit and you get laid off. If you are so sick for X amount of time, they're not going to say, hey, because you gave us, 20 years of your time, we really do love you. By the way, guess what? They are really downsizing. If they can downsize federal staff, well, how much you that is not producing? Nobody is in business for not making profit. It's not a non-profit. It's for profit. So you always have to understand. That's why they get you off their chain. Nobody wants to carry that baggage. They'll be calling you after a while. Then that's it. That's why your employer or your colleagues, they are not your friend, right? Guess what? No policy, no payout. Like in the case of this lady right now, when they call me and ask me, I'm like, you know what? Like I see, low key, I wanted to talk to her, but I just said, you know what? Let me just let her be right now because she is fighting for her life. And it hurts me to know with something as little as you paying for your phone bill, you would have gotten a protection that would have taken care of you. Now that you are in hospitals, the house that you bought, the car that you bought, everything that you suffered. If you've been here in the system for a long time, I've been here 7 years, I get scared. Because I sit with people and I'm working with them. All right. You hear people say, oh, I've been here 25 years, 30 years. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this cannot be my story. 20 years, 30 years, you are still not fulfilled. You're still doing the same old thing. You're still struggling. You're still hoping that one day help will come. There's no help because you didn't love yourself enough. You didn't love yourself enough to prioritize. Because guess what? Everybody, as you woke up today, you have paid one person or the other. But who is paying you? Right? You woke up today, you took your shower, you brushed your teeth. Now, guess what? You paid Colgate or whatever that company that gave you the toothpaste. You paid for the soap, right? Whatever brand you use. You paid for the soap, right? You paid that brand to give you that, that desired stuff that you wanted, right? You paid for the soap. You paid for what? Right? You got in your car. Guess what? You're going to pay the guy that's, made the car because you need a car to drive, right? You're going to pay your insurance to make sure you have insurance to drive. You're going to pay for the gas. Money is leaving. You are paying other people. Other people are getting paid, right? You went to the fast food joint or you will stop by McDonald's. You gave money in exchange for a service, because you were hungry. So now the problem now is who is going to pay you when you are down, when you're not able to get money to take care of yourself? Who is doing that payment for you? That's why when you don't have a policy in place before illness hits, and then guess what? Sometimes even if it hits, you can still get coverage and you can still get a payout. But it's not going to be as best as when you were still better off health-wise, right? And then guess what? You don't pay your rent, you don't pay your mortgage. After a while, guess what? Eviction comes knocking and it's not funny, right? It's not funny. So most of us here, we need to make sure that we are doing what we have to do. I hate, coming on here and I'm talking to people and they're not listening. And when it happens, they call me and they're quick to put you in a group. You not see GoFundMe. I'm like, man, but I just spoke to you like 6 months ago, 3 months ago. You're putting me on GoFundMe to help you as how? Like I just hold myself sometimes. I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I just sit in there. Sometimes I don't even accept. Sometimes I sit in there and I'm like, what am I going to say to this person? Because now you're sick, you can't pay your bill, you can't keep up your stuff, right? No cuts, right? You don't have a will, no cut system is going to let you off the chain. They're going to freeze your assets, right? You see that lovely car you're driving, that house that you are doing, I passed my neighbor, right? Most of us in Africa community and other community, you see your friend bought a house, you want to outdo them. You don't even know what source of income they have. Most people have hidden income they're not telling you. Some people are selling online. That's why you need to join my 5-day challenge. Some people are home, they are sleeping and they're making money from digital products. But there you are trying to fight with people. You don't even know where they're coming from. You're working because you think they're your colleagues, and you're like, okay, this is my colleague, get this house, they are here, I want to go there. You are wasting your time because nobody cares, whatever. Nobody cares. Everybody has their own bill to their name. If you send your bill now, does this bill have the person's name? No, you are responsible for your own decision, right? You don't pay your rent, you get evicted. Guess what? No guardian named. Guess what? Your child goes to court, then the court decides maybe they can give it to your uncle, to your auntie, or they can give it to a stranger, a total stranger, and that person's gonna be netting $800 a month per child on you. And guess what? They're still not gonna take care of your kids. Most of them get molested, right? So you don't want to know the stories. Go figure it out. Go ask people that have been through this thing, right? Now, guess what? You don't have a savings. Your child cannot go to college. Maybe you say, okay, my children will use student loan. Okay. The you that is listening to me now, especially if you're from my own side of town, your parents probably paid money, right, for you to go to school. Or maybe you had to work to go to school, or you're in America now. Maybe you were a lawyer in Africa, you were something in Africa, you were a teacher, you were in healthcare, you were this, name it, whatever career you came on here with, but you are in America. You're going to drop that title. No, they pay money here, because at the end of the month you got to pay your bills. You will not go back from here to here and start. If you're lucky, you might bounce back within 5-year mark. That's the mark. But if you're not lucky, most of you that come in here, you land in people that do, I don't want to mention this thing, whatever job description that whoever houses you or your first encounter, your inner circle, that is what you're going to do. If it's DoorDash they're doing, trust me, you will do DoorDash, right? If it's home health they're doing, home health is even good. If you're doing a CNA or caregiver, CNA is good, they have license. If you're doing caregiver, you will do caregiver, right? Whatever they're doing trucking, you do trucking. Whatever, if they're working Wazobia or whatever African store, that is what you are exposed to. They're working in factory, that's what you will do, because nobody can give you what they don't have. You cannot pour from an empty cup, right? So you want to make sure that you make the plans now. And then now you are now here, now you're going back to school, you're heaping on student loan. And then, did you hear the news about Trump and him talking about student loans? You have a lot of bills to pay. Times are changing, policies are changing, right? And then most people don't even know the price, right? Recently, my uncle passed, and then the cost of flying that body out was expensive. And then one good thing that he did that I love, he said he didn't want no GoFundMe, right? And I was like, even in debt, he still uphold his discipline and his standard. I got my cap for him. But one thing you need to understand, not everybody can do that, right? Because if you want, some people say, you know what, like this GoFundMe they put me now, they said they must slide the body out. And I spoke to this guy about his mom. The mom was here. I spoke to him. I said, your mom, you're paying $5,000 every month to put her in a care facility. You are a nurse. Why don't you move? You see why I tell you need to come into that challenge? Because some of you have a lot of skills. You don't know how to harness it. I said, move your mom into your place. Guess what? You're a registered nurse. You can get 2 or 3 people come in the same space. You're not paying 5,000. Other people are paying you. How much is the money that you're going to clock in and clock out at a job you know you hate? How much is the money? You can still do the same thing in a small capacity. And then once you're done, you can scale. I told him, get this coverage for your mom. He refused. Shortly after, I found myself in the group. And then I was looking like, duh, like I told you, you literally was trying to sell me Bitcoins and other thing. I'm like, bro, Bitcoins, no, they take care of you after you poof. right? Can you do something with the money? With the same thing, the people doing all this crypto now is LLCC, right? Most people are running to LLCC. If you've not heard of it, you don't want to go into any other scam, because guess what? These are Ponzi schemes, right? It doesn't take care of you after. At the end of the day, you lose money, you lose your sleep, your blood pressure will be high, and it doesn't take care of you afterwards. I told this guy, he didn't listen, but he was quick to put me in a group. And I sat in there for 2 months. Nobody was bringing any money. You see people put $50, $20, 50. The highest person that gave money was 200. And the goal, I'm sure that goal was not made, because he said the mother said she must be buried in Nigeria. To fly that body alone, if they're going to package it, right, without a casket, it's going to be about 15,000, right? With serious abeg, it's 15,000 to fly the body. We're not talking about funeral costs, right? So you want to make sure that you know these things. Some people don't want to know what stuff, because concern me right now. Until I just told you my mom's whatever, it was 6 years ago. I was here. My son that was disturbing me right now was just, he was like probably 11 months. My mom, that was taking care of my kids. It broke me. I was disorganized. You picture that. I knew in the system. I didn't have nothing. I was doing, thank God I was working with my hands, so I was making a little bit of money. But guess what? I sat in stillness and I was hearing my father cry for the first time. I have never heard my dad cry. My dad cried. This is a man that just lost his best friend. Because most of you that you have wives, you don't know those women are important until something happened, right? For those of you that are maltreating your wife now, you're listening to me. If the woman doesn't die and she leave you, you will not know that that woman was a good woman. So you better give her peace. My father was crying, and all I was hearing, they were like, oh, that man, no, because I was on the phone when she passed. It broke me. I had nightmares. I was traumatized. But guess what? I was the one that had to stand for everybody, right? You picture you doing funeral and there was no money. Everybody was just down. And all I could think of was my kids. I was thinking of my dad. I wasn't bothered about my siblings. I was thinking about my dad, because he just lost his wife of over 30 years. And she died very untimely. She died at 54. 54, very untimely, right? For very minor stuff that she would have taken care of if she had the right plan. This same thing that killed her hernia, I took a friend of mine 2 years ago to the hospital. I was the one that took, it's a same day surgery. She went to the hospital. I was the one she put as, you see, I say, who is that person that you have in your second? If you don't have somebody that you can call that can help you, you have a problem. You don't have people. Forget all this good that we are doing. If you don't have somebody that, if in your time of need, you call that person and they show up for you, you are set up to fail. I went there, picked her up from the hospital. As a matter of fact, I was leaving the hospital. It was late, right? In Southwest Houston here, right? I picked her up. Right, I was scared, rolling out, and sure the nurse was bringing her out. I was like, man, let this girl not die in this car, because she just literally, she was like, she still had all the medications in her and all that. And they said, no, you have to go. This was like 10 to 11. At the back of my mind, I'm like, and she's on the big side. So imagine how I want to carry this person, climb upstairs, right? Hey, all things were just going in my mind. I was not, that fear of my mom. I was like, Jesus, my mom died of this thing. Poof, rather. And then guess what? When I brought her back, I felt angered in me. I don't have closure yet for my mom's, passing, because it was a very tiny stuff that they would have avoided. If the Nigerian system was good, she was in the hospital, they kept doing all kinds of stuff. Like, I was like, man, I'm not even a doctor. And I was telling you what is going on. Can you do this? Can you do that? Everything was failing. Her kidney was failing. Everything was shutting down. And I was looking, I was like, if I was there, if money could replace life, trust me, I would have done it. Because I would have done whatever it takes. I did whatever it takes, but she still left. And she left with my 2 children she was holding. Picture this, 2 children, I'm here, pregnant, heavily pregnant, stressed up from a very stressful marriage, right? At that point in time, I was like, you know what, right? Is either this marriage go, or you see, I didn't even care. I just wanted to have the baby and I needed peace. But my mom was not there. She was one that told me, Helen, don't worry, go do whatever you want to do. I will hold your kids. And she left with, left my children. It hurt me. So if I'm talking to you as a single mom, I know why I'm saying so. Like, as I am really invested in that thing. I'm really invested. My mom left, and I was looking while she was in her sick bed. She couldn't talk, the pain and everything. Imagine when your hernia bursts. They call it rupture. It ruptured. It was decayed inside. It gave her 1 week notice, and my siblings, God will help me. And I was suddenly take her to the hospital, like, oh, no, because, as women, we try to be strong. You know that you are feeling pain, but you try to be strong. See, enough is enough. Stop trying to be strong. If you're tired, look for people in your circle to hold you by the hand and help you. Don't go by yourself, because if anything happens, it's sorry. And the funny thing is, people are quick to move on. People are quick to move on, and that's why I fear people. People will move on like you never happened, right? So you want to make sure that you have that plan in place. Don't think your sister, your brother, your whatever will care. No, nobody cares after. They will cry small, and that's it. Most time when people cry, it's because of the money that they used to bury you and continuity. It's not even because they love you that much, right? That chapter is closed. They are moving on. It's a survival for the fittest, habit out here. It's shrewd, right? One of the reasons why I'm telling you this now is, after taking that girl out of the hospital, I just figured, I'm like, if only I had brought my mom in here. The healthcare system failed her, but she would have been well here. Very minor stuff. That lady that I'm talking to you, she's still very much alive, right? And I see her. When I see her, I just smile and I thank God. About this thing, because life will happen, people will move on, but what happens? There's emotional trauma tied to this thing, there's financial stress tied to this thing, there's long life damage, because you will blame different people, but you're no more here. But guess what? Your kids will be damaged. You want to make sure that you protect them by all costs. And the scripture says wisdom is a shelter, right? As money is, guess what, is a shelter. But the advantage of the knowledge in this is wisdom preserves those who have it. If you don't have wisdom, you are already set up to fail. Protection is wisdom in motion. What is that wisdom that you are failing to do? By the way, if you don't know what that verse is in Ecclesiastes 7 verse 12, right? You want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, whatever it takes. There are 3 steps for every single mom, every mom that is stressed out there, because you have children. You have to be the mom, the dad. You wear multiple hats. Sometimes you don't even have enough to eat, but you make sure your kids eat, right? And then your kids ask you questions that, Mom, why can't we have this? Because you just smile. You say, okay. You don't want to tell your children that we don't have money. Meanwhile, right now, you need to stop saying certain stuff. Yes, you don't have money. Don't tell your children you don't have money, because it's sinking in. The more they keep hearing, I don't have money, I don't have money, you are lacing things in them that it would take a really serious deliverance of detoxing their mindset for them to get rid of that stuff. You want to make sure whatever you're doing, watch the language you stay around your kids, especially when you're going through hard times. Your children will watch you. They watch you. You tell your child, hey, do this. They're not doing what you tell them to do. They're doing what you do. So if you don't love yourself enough, they know. They know. And that's why you're raising children that are having mental issues, because you cannot give what you don't have. Sometimes you need to just take a pause and just love on yourself. Take yourself out, love on your body, and then stop. Every other thing will be okay. Because if anything happens and you move, everybody will keep going. But you need to take time to stop and figure out, what am I doing? SWOT yourself. In the last 5 years, what have I achieved? Who are the people in my circle? Sometimes you need to do a mental detox on your circle. You need to have like different buckets where you put people. There are certain people you put in acquaintance, certain people you put in friendship zone, some people you put in the prayer zone, agreement zone. There's certain people that you need. If you don't have those certain people at every point in your life, you already failed. You already failed, right? So what I'm telling you right now is, guess what? No needles involved, just honest answers, right? You need to bundle up. You need a plan that has living benefits with a child rider if you want, but I'll tell you, get them separate, because you and your kids came into this life separate. Nobody came except your twins. Even twins, one will come before the other. No 2 people come from the bed canal together now. Everybody comes on their own time. And then guess what? You want to make sure that you have a plan in place. Who are the people that would be able to take care of my children? Now we even have a provider that helps. There's a provider that helps, right? If anything were to happen, right? Anybody taking care of your kids, your children can go to a guidance that you picked. Now that guidance that you picked, guess what? They get paid 900 per child. If you have 10 children like my mom had, all 10 of your kids are taken care of now. That person can take care of those kids without feeling burdened, because people are suffering. Somebody has 3 children, or have 2, or have 4. No matter how many number of kids they have, is a burden on them already. Because to feed those children is not easy. Some kids are picky. Some won't eat. Some like this. They have allergy. They have different kind of things. It's not easy, right? So you want to make it easy for whoever it's going to be, especially if you have young children. But if your kids are 18 and above, that's fine. You still need to get them a plan in place, because you are the one that matters most. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be protected. That is all. There's no perfect parents, no perfect whatever, because guess what? We are learning. That's why you see on this journey, keep moving. You need to have a position of, oh, I need to fail now. Be ready to fail very fast so that you keep moving. But if you're avoiding to fail and you're guided, you don't want to take that first step, you're going to be on the spot. That's why people struggle. You want to hit the link in my bio and join the 5 days, what you have in your hands, right? This is not about me bringing you to the business that I'm doing. It's about me harnessing the skill set that you have. Some of you are very gifted, but you don't know what to do with it. You're wasting. Just like the talent, the story of the talent, you're wasting your talent. That's why you get frustrated. Some people, sit on social, you're sitting on social media, you watch people clean their houses. People, someone is cleaning their house and you're looking and you're looking, you're scrolling and scrolling. You know you're making that person make money. You don't even know, because sometimes you're scared. You don't even know how to set a camera in front of you. I have a bunch of, I'm streaming live on several channels right now, talking to different people. I'm on Clubhouse, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube at the same time, right? But guess what? Do you even know how to do that? Everything out there will benefit somebody, but you're scared. Sometimes God will say, move, and you're telling God, are you sure? Are you sure? And guess what? There's something called the right timing. If you miss that timing and you move late, don't be like the guy that was in the belly of the fish, right? They will take you back to that Nivel place. Don't be like that guy, man. You want to do it now. It's time. It's urgent. Go ahead and do what you have to do. Why? Because their children will be mighty in the land. That's what scriptures say. And the generations of the unrighteous, right, of the upright, right, will be blessed. Your generations will be blessed. So what are you doing to make sure your kids stay blessed, right? What are you doing to make sure that every time they pronounce your name, they say they love you? I watched a clip yesterday about one of the biggest guy in Nigeria. A young guy, is about 27. He's over 3 billion. Three, is it 3 or 3 million, $3 million watts, 300 million watts, right? His name is Bilod in Nigeria. I was watching his story yesterday. Young guy, and he brought his mom. The way he was smiling, you will see how humble he was. The mother was happy. He was happy, and I was looking at him. I'm like, if every parent can get this kind of moment when your child can become successful, even while you are still alive, and they come now and then now become a roof, they become a shelter because you did what you had to do to protect those kids, you will have the last laugh. But if you right now you think that you want to spend money, do whatever you want to do on your kids, and you're not putting protection on yourself and your kids, you're wasting your time. I used to, braid hair for a long time. In 5 years, that's what I did. I still do have my braiding store, right? Guess what? That was what I did. It was more therapeutic. I talk to women every day because I love women, right? I feel motivated when I listen to women. It's a blessing. It's more like ministry, right? When I'm doing their hair, we're talking, and nobody that had ever made their hair complain about that. In the last 6 years, I use these hands. I said, what do you have in your hands? To braid, right? My hands grow your hair, and I'm praying over you as well. But guess what? Right? Looking at some mothers come through those tables of my chair, and then I see them spend premium money. Sometimes I feel guilty. I'm like, why is this woman spending $400 or $500 for a child that it's not even 18? Because we charge by the length of the hair and the time. I charge you per hour. If whatever you're trying to do is 5 hours, I'm not going to say because you're a child. No, I'm going to charge you per hour, especially when you're tall and that thing is taking my time, because everybody gets paid by the hour. So that's how I categorize my business, to make sure if I'm giving you a service for 5 hours, I charge you per hour, right? Except you're a young child, and then okay, I know there's a fixed price for that, right? And then guess what? Some brothers don't even like doing babies' hair because they don't sit. We're working by the hour. But what I want you to understand is, I sit in there and I'm like, the same amount of money you're spending, like couple of $100 a month, or maybe 3 months, because some people do the hair for 3 months and then they come back, they do a refresh, or they do it for a month and a half and they do a refresh, and you can as well do that protection for your kids. And then for as low as you paying your phone bill, you can get the protection for yourself. Because guess what? If anything happens, you don't want to be like the lady that I just mentioned, right? That the unexpected illness came because she didn't take care of herself. And one other thing I'll tell you now, if you're listening to me, please, please, please prioritize your self-care. Your self-care, when your body says you need to rest, listen to your body. Your body is always speaking. Your body is always speaking to you, but you're not listening because you're busy. Sometimes you want to push. Don't be like my mom. I love my mom. Every time I cry. I'm like, you know what? I miss her more, but all the lessons she's been teaching, I'm taking it. And the ones that I don't want, I'm leaving it. Because as Africans, as women, as single mom, you want to make sure you're doing everything. You want to do, oh, I got it. No, you don't got it. Stop trying to get it all by yourself, right? When your body says rest, take that rest, right? Go see your doctor, take time, figure out what goes in your body, because guess what you put in your body is what you become. You want to figure out what goes through your ear, you need to filter out what you hear. There's certain people around you, if they're always talking about negative stuff, they're always scared, they're always broke. Guess what? If you hang around them, trust me, the next person to get broke or get stuck or get depressed is going to be you, because you're feeding your mind, and your mind goes through your eyes. There's a window, and your ears, right? You want to make sure you filter out those people that are around you, that when you try to motivate them, they depress you. You're going to leave them in one particular bucket, especially during your productivity time. You don't want to have to mess with them. Don't talk to them within that hour or that period. You want to do that thing for your self-care. Self-care is respecting you enough to say no. This is my hour of productivity. This is my me time. How do I do that? Once I'm working out, if I'm doing my private moment, I don't want you calling me. Most people in my agency, I have over 100 plus, agents working with me. They know you can't call me from 8 to 9. No, don't call me. That's my private. That's why I'm self-employed. Don't call me within that time. That's a me time, right? That's a me time. Because why? Because I choose to prioritize myself. Once I come out of me time, I work too hard. I'm working till in the middle of the night. These days, I stay up till 4. I'm working. So once I want to rest, don't try to come in my time. Just respect my time. I won't even pick your call, right? So I'm going to say, sis, your child is watching. Your babies are watching. Your children are watching, right? They're watching you, right? Not just how you love them. They're not just looking at how you love them. They know. But sometimes they'll ask you, have you ever had a child ask you, Mom, do you love me? Right? Or have you ever asked them, you've been wondering why? You tell them, oh, I love you. It's not by what you say, it's about what you do, right? So guess what? It's how you lead them, right? It's in the money habit. It's in the skill. It's in you harnessing them. Don't be that one that would hold back because you are waiting on duty. You are encroached on duty of a parent. You are using that duty as an excuse not to step up and do what you have to do for yourself. Right? You're not just a mom, you are a builder, you are a queen, you are a generational protector. There's a reason why God chose that child to be birthed by you. Your womb didn't just birth a baby, you birthed a generation. So if you don't know how to protect that generation, you need to take a chill pill. Probably you need to go for therapy and calm down. Right? Some people are begging to have babies, they don't have. Some people will give an arm and a leg just to have a baby. Right? You don't want to know what women that go through IVF go through, the pain that they go through. Most of them, they're crying, they sit in front of you, they're smiling, but the inner pain, the minute that nobody's there, and the hour of the night, the tears they cry, you don't want to know. So you were blessed to have these kids. You want to do the right thing by protecting you, because you're like a pilot that is flying this aircraft. Your children are the crew members, or they are the passengers on the flight. For every time you don't take care of yourself and you keep going like this, you're failing to accelerate. Guess what? You're pausing everybody's destiny back. You don't want to do that, right? And then guess what? Even on the same flight, that's why they always tell you, before you put protection or put the mask on your child, it doesn't matter if it's your child, you love them so much. They say, put the protection on you. You are the one that matter the most, right? So I want you to say this, right? Say this with me. I will protect what I'm building. You're building destinies. You're building protection, right? I will leave no confusion behind, and I will not die full. I will not move full. Sorry. I need to learn this. I will not leave empty. I'm going to pour out myself, right? I told you a story about my mom. Every time something happens, I'm like, what will mommy say? And it comes because she poured so much. It's a pity, it's a shame, it's a great loss that she was not here after 54, right? So when I see people hit 60, I'm celebrating them. If I see people at 70, I'm celebrating them. If I see people at any age, if I see a mother, I'm celebrating them because I lost the precious gem, right? I lost mine. right? So that's why I'm telling you, whatever it takes, go ahead and do whatever it takes to do the right thing by yourself. So if you're listening to me on YouTube, right, this is where we draw the curtain. I want you to go ahead. There's a link in the bio. Click the link in the bio for a one-on-one consultation with me. And if you're listening to me on Instagram and on Facebook, if you're listening to me on Clubhouse, hey, hit the link, tap the link, book a one-on-one session with me. Guess what? It doesn't cost anything. As quick as 10 minutes, we can get you approved. And guess what? You have the protection. You can get a living trust, right? And a living will, protecting all you slaved to get, right? If you do all you do and you say you love your children, you love yourself, you want to protect that income, protect yourself, and do what you got to do to make sure that whatever happens, your family would love you. They will look up and they will say, I bless grandma, right? I bless great grandma. And then your name is going to be a monument in the family. That's why you see when you hear Abraham, you say Abraham blessings are ours. He did something, right? You want to be remembered as such, right? Check in within your lineage. How many of your forefathers, your grandfather, your ancestors do they remember? If you didn't do anything remarkable, nobody's going to remember your name. What would they remember you for, right? So this is where I draw the curtain. I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. Remain blessed. Remember, the links are in the bio. And remain blessed. Take care of you. God loves you. And Jesus loves you. Take care. Bye-bye. I sign out now. Don't forget to sign, join my subscription, right? Subscribe to my channel. If you're listening, I'm on Generational Wealth Building plug on YouTube. Join my channel, right? And then guess what? Share this video to everybody that you love out there. I'll see you at the top, and turn on the notification button. So whenever I come on like this, you'll be the first to know and get on here live. You can actually send me a message also down below. In Jesus' name, I pray that everything around you will be blessed. The confusion is gone. You're not confused. You're not frustrated. You're not depressed. Every depression is off. The spirit of knowing what to do rests upon you heavily, and you are heavily guarded, and you're heavily blessed and protected and enabled to carry this cross, right, to the very end. See you at the top.